Today is going to be about one thing, and only one thing. Nigel. Yes, just one thing, a very focused video, all about Project Nigel, the Rover 25 with its many different colours. So today I'm going to do an oil and filter change and show you how to do it, in case you don't know. I'm also going to change the coolant before flushing it out and show you how to do it. I'm also going to change the alternator pulley because that one's noisy and show you how to do it. And then I'm going to wax lyrical about why I like this car so much and show you how to do that. Bye bye, Beetle. Bye bye. Probably the most pressing and important job to do first is that pulley, because it's making a funny noise and I've only really just found out. I thought it was something to do with the water pump. As you can see, I've jacked the car up, taken the wheel off, put two wheels underneath it, and then got the jack again jacked underneath the engine with a block of wood, ready to undo the engine mounts. Engine now jacked up. This is boring. I don't want to talk about this job. I want to just do it and say something completely irrelevant. Anyway, I've just taken the auxiliary belt off and had a look at the tensioner. And I tightened it a little bit, but other than that I can't see anything else wrong with it. So that's rather curious. Well, that seems a bit strange. Using the tried and tested have you tried switching it off and then back on again technique, that seems to have done the job. But basically what I've done is take the belts off, undid the tensioner and then just did it back up, because maybe it wasn't on entirely straight. It still doesn't look right to me though, but it sounds better. Wouldn't it be nice if that job was done? Maybe it is. Nigel's expansion bottle has been full of oily gunk since the day I got the thing, and that was quite a while back. And that's been the only head gaskety kind of symptom it's ever had. But it's still gunky now. And I've never been able to get it clean, so this time I'm going to try a combination of this stuff, which will of course fizzle and go all bubbly, which I don't really want. So I'm also going to try a bit of this in there. It's essential joint support for adult dogs. Or it was before it had defoamer put in it. There we go. That's direct debit setup for tax. It can now go back on the road. What it really needs now is a proper warm up, a bit of a thrashing, not thrashing, that sounds abusive, an Italian tune up, so that all of that gunky stuff can get mixed with the citrus degreaser stuff. And then when I tip it all out, hopefully all of the gunk will come with it. Well, it's an exciting moment, so best go and buy some petrol. I didn't exactly forget what it was like to drive this car, but it feels like a lovely treat. The only thing is, the brakes don't feel anywhere near as good as what they do in the 45. You need much more of a shove. It's quite weird not having the rev counter working actually. but you want the rev counter to work to see how much abuse you're giving the engine. You can't really give it much abuse anyway. Well, even if you wanted to do, there's always something to slow you down. Like cyclists. I don't mind them. You can be on the road as far as I'm concerned. What a joy it is to be back in Nigel. Although it'll take a while before I've got my confidence back. Let's give it some on the beans. Still goes well enough. It just doesn't feel anywhere near as civilised or as planted as the 45 though. You know, you realise just after a while that because I was very happy with my little 25 and I still am, but that 45 is just fantastic. It's just such a good car. This one's just such a bonkers car. It's bonkers. It looks bonkers. I guess you have to be driving something else for a while before you really notice the difference. Because before I used Alfio, I was using the custom missile, which is basically the same car as this, but stiffer and a bit lower and much more planted feel. This one's got softer seats and you feel a bit like you sat on the top of the car, ever so slightly. I just given a guy a wave in an MG ZT. He didn't wave back. Not running as well as it used to be. Okay, this is frustrating. I'm forever losing things, which is why I started putting stuff on that trolley. All the things I use all the time go on the trolley, but I still lose things. And that car's not running as it should do, and I want to get the plugs out. I can't find the thing for it, and all I'm doing is wandering around making this tune up as I go along. My looking for things tune, and it's not helping at all. 30 miles per hour, second gear, get to 50, foot down. Healthy acceleration. Back in this civilised outfit. I did want to use Nigel for the school run today, but I'm not sure I dare, which is a pity because it's quite a lot of petrol. Because this isn't what I was expecting today. I've sorted that pulley out. I was expecting that. I was going to do the oil change and coolant change. That hasn't happened because of the stuff that got in the way. Could it be the? I thought it was going to be the lambda sensor, which I hope it wouldn't because that's a bit of a pain. Plugs are all okay. Coil packs. Oh dear, what's going on here? That was a bit sudden. Would it be something like the idle control valve? Custard missile is being used as a donor for the moment. Well, I'll swap a few bits over. You might think, why not just plug it into one of those computer thingies into the OBD port? Well, yeah, I've done. No communication. Right. That's not that. That's not that. Next to try is this one. Not the easiest thing to get off while the manifold is in situ. That's the third one I've tried, so let's see. Well, none of those three sensors has made any difference. So I'm going to just try the old style method, that Italian tune-up thing. What could basically happen here is nothing, all I do is use up all my petrol and get frustrated further. And I've got this thought in mind of last year, or it might have even been the year before now, of Project Kev, thrashing it up Blackstone Edge, trying to get it to run better, and it never works because the head gasket had gone. I'm just hoping I've not got a similar kind of thing going on here. The only real place I could go would be somewhere like the Blackstone Edge, because it's a nice big hill where it puts the car under a lot of pressure, puts the engine under a lot of strain. The trouble with driving along roads like this, of course, is it's all very easy. I'm going down a slope here on a 30 limit. What kind of pressure is that putting into the engine? Eh? Well, no. Oh look, a Volkswagen Beetle with a private plate as well. I would really quite like to drive one of those. Yeah, I really fancy driving a new Beetle. Not one quite as new as that. Maybe one about 2002. Soft top with V5 engine. That'd be good. Quite like to try one of those if anyone's got one. Hello, Robin! My rev counter's come back. How amazing is that? I don't know what's inspired it to kick itself back into life, but I'm happy about that for sure. Not that it was going to be any great hassle swapping the clocks, except of course the clocks are going to have the wrong mileage on. I prefer to have the actual mileage of the car. That coach looks really sad. But besides the kind of unusual tick over this car's got at the moment, it's running perfectly well otherwise. It's revving freely, everything's fine. Maybe I should just ignore it. And I've got the usual issue here. This is a 40 limit this, and I'm holding back because that Tesla is going quite slowly. But once it gets into the faster bit, I presume they're going to carry on going the same speed. And the trouble there is if I hold back long enough, someone will just fill the gap, won't they? So I'm going to have to just wait and stick it in second gear and do a bit of cloggage. Yep. Might as well open the window so you can all hear it. Because I get slowed down by other cars, even on a road like this. It's dreadful. If there's one thing I certainly love about living in the north, it's having places like this to come to. Just a couple of miles away from Rochdale and you're in the hillside, and it's fantastic. This particular spot is definitely an attraction. Lots of people come up here just to sit and look at the view. They also like to drop ridiculous amounts of litter absolutely everywhere. That is what we do with our beauty spots locally. Treat them like the shithole that you come from. People really are disgusting sometimes. That chugging is no better. Personally, I've got bit of a negative feeling about what's going on here. It's chuffing out a bit of smoke. It's been doing that a while. It's not concerned. In fact, it's had many symptoms for a while. None of them seem to be that terminal. But I've got the feeling this time it is the ZR. When the head gasket had gone in that, it still pulled really well. And that made me think, can't be a head gasket. It's just it didn't want to run properly when it was cold. It had to get hot first. The MGZS I had, head gasket was gone on that, but I didn't know. Because when it was running, it was fine. It didn't lose any coolant, didn't lose any oil. But it just didn't want to start. Before that, I had, on a previous occasion, I bought a 25 1.6. Started perfectly, run perfectly, really pulled like a train in fact, but the oil was all full of gunky stuff. So a completely different symptom. Head gasket problems can come in all different shapes and sizes. And many people say on a K-series, head gasket replacement should be part of its servicing. In fact, I think Craig said that once. Quite a disappointing moment for me, really, this. But whatever the case, will be put right. The only thing is, it's just a bit inconvenient right at the moment. I taxed it today because I wanted to start using it and start taking it to the shows and stuff. What happens if that doesn't happen now? Imagine that. Well, I was going to go home and drink the beer that Boaty bought me. Thanks, Boaty.